Hi guys, Righteous Raymond here, back again with another powerful dose of truth for the day, and that is this. This is going to help you all to stop attracting narcissists. It's going to help you to leave narcissists. So if you're with one now, it'll help you leave, and if you're single, it'll help you not go to the next one, okay? So the first thing I want you to know, I have a few good points in this video, but the first thing I want you to know is that every choice that you make comes from, guess who? You. I make all the decisions that I make, okay? I make the decisions of where I choose to rent and put my stuff there, where I live. I make the decision of what car I drive. I make the decision of where I go to eat. I make the decision whether I do laundry today or dishes or fix my bed or, I make all those decisions. I choose what I do in my life, and you do too, okay? But now if you're like really in a controlling relationship, you may not choose, but most of us get to choose what we do, what we wear, all the things. How we wear our hair, what jewelry we're going to wear. We make those choices. So everything you choose comes out of you. So the most important thing you can work on to get out of a narcissistic relationship or to not get into another one is to work on you. Because every choice you make comes out of you, okay? What they say, the love is never any better than the lover. All right? You cannot love better than you are. A person who's like let's say it's a really like bad drugadict, somebody who is dependent on chemicals. A person who's dependent on chemicals, they can't be a great parent because they're parenting out of their chemical dependency. A person who has a mental illness cannot be an amazing parent because they're parenting out of their mental health diagnosis. A person who is in jail cannot be a great father from jail because they're parenting from behind a penitentiary, okay, behind bars. You can't do any better than who you are. You choose out of who you are. You live out of who you are. You parent out of who you are. You marry out of who you are. You pastor. If you're a narcissist or a compulsive liar or you're a criminal, you can't be a great pastor. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everything you do comes out of who you are. So the most important thing I've ever learned, not ever learned, but one of the most important things I've ever learned, I've been in school to become a pastoral counselor. The best thing I learned is not tools and tips and tricks and, therapeutic modalities of how to be a great therapist, how to be a great counselor. The most important thing I learned in my past 3 years in school was being a better me. Because I can only do therapy from myself. I can only counsel outside myself. Now, I can borrow information from a book, whatever, a video I saw, somebody I observed doing counseling. But everything I do, it still filters through me, and it comes out through me, okay? Everything I do, y'all get your oil changed, and you see that being the little filter out, the one that's under the hood and the one that's in, like, your glove compartment. Like, if everything filters from that, if that's filthy, everything comes in filthy, everything filters filthy. You have to have a clean filter. You are the filter of your life. Your mind, your soul, your spirit, your body is your filter, your life filter. Everything you do comes from you and your filter, okay? So if your filter is filthy and your heart is not clean, you cannot pastor very well. You cannot be a good boss, okay? You've all had a horrible boss because they were insane. You can't be a great husband. Your parents weren't great parents, some of them, because they weren't healed within themselves. They still had childhood stuff going on. They still had their own mental illnesses, okay? So you can only parent out of yourself. So the most important thing you can do is be a better self. When you become a better self, this is what happens. I don't know how to explain it. It's going to be kind of like metaphysical sounding, but think about a radio station. Some of y'all still listen to radio. I listen to radio still, okay, in my car, okay? FM station, AM station. Now, FM is a clearer, better audio. AM is like only works in certain areas. FM works longer, along a wider area of the city, but AM only works a certain way, and then at nighttime it don't really work that good. But depending on what station you're on, it determines what you attract. If I'm on an AM wave, everything I hear, it got a little fuzz to it. It got a little uncleanness to it. I can't go too far to this zip code. It's going to start getting fuzzy, okay? I listen to 1480 WBBP. That's a Memphis gospel station. I can't listen to it in Germantown. I can't hear anything. And if it's nighttime, I can't hear anything even if I'm closer to downtown, okay? Then there's FM. FM is clear in the day, in the night, long distance, close to the station. So some of you all, your mind is on the AM wave, okay? Then there's XM. XM, you go anywhere in the world. So AM, FM, XM. Some of y'all self-esteem is on that. It's on the AM level. You know, you have you're very limited at what you can do and attract and achieve. And some of you have FM, which is average, and some of you have XM. You believe anything is possible. You believe in the best. You attract the best. And I'm not trying to do this old, what's the word, law of attraction type stuff, but I'm talking about like not manifesting in a neo, what's it called? Not neo soul. It's something they call new something. It's a type of religious mindset. I'm not talking like that, but I'm talking about it does matter how you think. It does matter how you view yourself, because people can read you. People can read like, her self-esteem is sub-level. Her self-esteem is actually unalived. I can bring anything to her and she'll tolerate it. And you can tell sometimes you meet a new person, that's why I ask you questions like, why'd your last relationship end? Now, some people want to know because they want to know, were you the reason it ended? But sometimes they ask because they want to know, how much foolishness would she tolerate? How AM is she? How AM station is she? If her last 5 men cheated on her, I can maybe cheat on her too. I won't go on the same level that they did. I may do like a little less. I'll be better than those men. Don't tell them how bad your last relationship was. They don't need to know all that. Some of them are just trying to figure out so they can see how bad they can treat you. Okay, so watch. Just watch yourself. Watch your self-esteem. You make your choices out of who you are. Self-esteem chooses the seats you sit in. Did you know that? The jobs you pick, the apartments you choose, the houses you choose, the neighborhoods you live in, the schools you put your kids in, the churches you worship in, the clothes that you wear, the food that you eat. Now, yes, determined by your income level sometimes or your awareness, if you're ignorant or not of certain factors. But sometimes we choose based on our self-esteem, we choose based on our self-esteem. So the self-esteem determines what seat you sit in. And then sometimes you realize, like, this ain't for me. They ain't treat me right. I don't like it here. I don't like it. I don't feel safe here. Then your self-esteem will determine how long you stay in the seat. So first you sat in the seat. You've been there for like 5 months or 5 years, depending on your self-esteem. Then you may say, well, this ain't for me. I'm not being treated. I'm not being respected and honored here. I'm getting out of here. What they say, I leave the table when respect is no longer being served. But then your self-esteem, determines when you leave the seat. So you say, like, I think I'm going to leave like right now. Like, I've heard women say they're going first dates with men who say something disrespectful. These women say they walk away within seconds of the disrespect being served. Within seconds. They don't wait till the date is over and they just pretend they're going to be nice and then block them. They say they leave immediately. Okay, so self-esteem determines the seats that you're attracted to, that you sit in, that you stay in, how long you stay in it, how quickly you leave. Okay, so work on your self-esteem. Work on yourself. Okay, don't just say, okay, tell me all the signs of a narcissist. The most important thing you can do is work on yourself. The most important thing you can do is heal yourself. Get on the FM and the XM station, and everything on XM is clear all the time. Okay, I don't think they may not even have like commercials on XM. FM gonna have tons of commercials. It's gonna be clear audio for the most part. Be tons of commercials. AM's gonna have tons of commercials and bad static quality. Okay, so we want to work on ourselves. You can never do any better than who you are. So you got to work on who you are. You choose based on who you are. Your identity chooses your choices. Okay, your identity chooses your choices. For example, if you're a vegetarian, when you go to a restaurant, your identity as a vegetarian or a vegan determines your choices. If you are sober, then when you go to a bar, your identity as a non-drinker determines your choices at the bar. If you are a hetero, sex, it determines who you date on a dating app. If you are a Christian, it determines what activities you do and don't do. If you are a Buddhist or a Muslim or a Hindu, everything Hindi. Everything you do comes out of your identity. So the most important thing that you can do is work on your identity, heal yourself, and don't try to change the people you get around. Like, oh, but he don't like that, but she don't like that, but they don't like that. It don't matter what they are. Be your full self 100% of the time, and you will get on the right station, and you will attract who you are. You will attract people on your same level, your same tribe, your same crew. But when you start faking, trying to fit in with certain people that's not you, you start operating outside of your real identity and your real true self, your real authentic self, you start attracting all these weird people. And you're like, these people are so weird. They're hating on me. They're jealous of me. They're competing with me because they're not on your station. They're in a station of competition and jealousy and insecurity. You're in a station of everyone can win. We're all going to win. We're all successful. I love you. I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to heal yourself. When you heal yourself, you radiate a different type of confidence and beauty and glow, and it attracts other right people to you. So, thank you guys for watching. Remember, become Amazon on Kindle or Amazon. Bye.